Good morning and welcome back to day 16 of 100 Days of Code. Today we're going to be continuing on with our conditional styling of our course adding tool here. So let's just keep going. And yeah, we've been adding styling to this course goal in various ways. So let's see what's next. Okay, so we just want to add a media query for our button. And let's do that. So at media, and then you give the brackets as to the width that you want this media query to be activated on. So the minimum width, of 768 pixels. And then just open up our curly parentheses, pass in the button class and set it to width auto. Okay. So we can see the button is small there now. And so I'm just watching the video. Sorry about the chair. Okay. So on smaller devices we need to add width 100. And now 100%. And there we go. Okay. So now the button size is actually changing. So on a small screen it is a width of 100. But then once we expand it, here and pass the minimum width of 768 pixels, the width becomes automatic. So that's what we see happening. So that's cool. we have a responsive button, so we'll continue on. Okay, so now we're going to just look at debugging code, which is in the next chapter. So I need to find my files again. Here, 7. Extract this. So the next chapter. The name is too long, so let's rename it. Excuse me. And then we will unzip it or extract. Okay, so I'm going to just cut this out of here because it's not unzipping because of the file name, so I'll extract it somewhere else, like here, and then I'll open this with code, and then I'll make sure that we have the same components as max, and this looks correct. So cool. Okay, so what we're going to do now is run npm install on this particular project. So let's do that. Okay, so if we just open up our terminal and run npm install. Cool, and now on npm start. Okay, so we have an issue. Okay, so it was telling us it couldn't find, like it couldn't start the project basically. It can't find the package.json. 7. This is right to npm not being able to find a file. So I just ran it from the wrong folder, basically. That's what's going on. So therefore, if we just do dir again, you can see the folder structure we have here. So we have another folder within here that we actually need to go into. So I'll just go in there, and I should delete the package lock.json file. But for now, let's just go in here, cd, because I know on a Mac the shortcut is or, like just it's /remove, or rm. I think on Windows it's del. Let's try del, so I'll just go back and then do del package. Okay, cool. And now if we do dir, cool, so that deleted it. So now we'll cd. So on Windows it's del, and on a Mac it's rm. So then we'll cd into our folder, and we'll do npm install again, just to install our packages within here, so then we can run it. So no such file or directory, no package.json. dir. Okay. Yeah, because I'll just keep running these from the wrong folders. So we actually need to cd into the code as well now. So yes, we need to cd into code, so I should del that package.lock.json as well, because it's again too high. So we'll cd into code, and now we'll do dir to check where we are, and now we'll cd into all1. This is where we should be running our npm install from, and now we'll do dir, and now we have our public and our source folder and our package.json. So now we can run npm install. Yeah, because it's installing from that package.json file, so there must be a package.json file at the same level, and it should be from the root of your project. So normally when I open up something in code, I always open it up at the root, because then you're starting from the start of your project. So in this case I didn't, I just unzipped that file and got going, not really paying attention to where the folder structure is. But you should be running your npm install and your npm start and everything from the root level of your project, so where your source folder is and where all the main body of your file is. So wherever you create your folder on your computer, and then you do your initial like project start, React, however you start a React project, create new React app or create React app, or if it was Angular it would be ng new, and then you give the name of the project, so Angular new my project. So if you created a folder called project and then you ran that command inside that folder, you would need to cd into the project that you've just created, your ng new, the new project, my project. So go into the my project folder, and then you can run it from within that Angular or React excuse me, from within the Angular or React project itself. So that's what's going on there. That's why that wasn't working. I was trying to install it from the wrong package. So we can just go and check that out. So here's the zipped file. Here's the unzipped file that we unzipped. Okay, so this is the unzipped file, and then if we go into this unzipped file, we have a code folder, and then we also have 1 and 2. So we've got 2 more projects within this. These are just general folders, and then this is where our project is actually contained. So then we have our source and our public folders within this 1 and 2. So this is where we should be running things from, where this package.json is. So if we go into 2, it's the same. We're within our project now, so it's not just a folder, it's our project folder. So I was running it from the wrong folder. That's what was happening. So we're just going to spin this up now, and then we're going to do some debugging. So we're going to come across some bugs and debug them. So that's the plan. Yeah, I did get a comment yesterday. Thank you so much for, you know, interacting and assisting, but that the lag on the video was slow, so I do need to look into this. I know that there can be a lag on my little head down there, so yeah. I've tried to find a solution, but so far I have not found one. So other than recording the video and the recording separately and then merging them, because it's an hour video, it was taking 2.5 hours to merge, and then like it still takes like an hour to go onto YouTube, so it was mental. I know, I don't know, it just takes so much time, and this isn't the only thing I do in the evening. I do use my computer, so I can't be using my computer for the whole evening, because it's just doing some really heavy computational stuff, and you know, I don't want to mess with it, and yeah, I just need to figure out a way to manage it and to actually make it work. So I'm looking into that for you guys. I'm back on the morning shifts this morning. I did my 2 videos in the evening on Monday and Tuesday. So I'm back on the morning shift, and which is great. It's so good to get it done in the morning. Like, I'm still asleep today, I think. So bear with me. Okay, cool. So that's run now. So now we can do npm start. And I just run that, and let's see what errors are going to pop up. Okay, so something's already running. I thought I did not close that. So we can just close this other terminal. So I'll just delete this as soon as we're not using it. And then we can still just open this on another port because I don't want to run the command again. We'll just open it on 301 instead. So it gives you that option if you have it running on a different port. But just because we don't need the other project for the moment, I'll just close it anyway. And here's our first error. So cool. Let's see. Yes. Yep. Okay, so we've seen this error before, or I've certainly explained it. So what this error means, and we'll go and have a look at this now. This says adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Did you want a JSA fragment? So do I want a JSA fragment? Yes. Yes, I do. Oh, now I know what that means. Right, okay. Yeah, so basically what this is saying is, if we go and have a look at the code, but 2 different JSX elements, which are just the HTML that's being put back out onto the page, but it's JSX, but it's similar to, you know, the content of your page, how you would style it in HTML, but it's JSX. It's not HTML, it's JSX. But yeah, so if we just hover over the CTRL, hover over it and then click it, we can go to this part in the file. And basically what it's telling us is you can't have 2 adjacent elements. So in our return statement, see the way this is giving us an error here. When we're returning something in this JSX block of code in React, we can't have 2 different tags at the same level like they are here. So all we need to do is enclose this in a parent div, a single parent. And if we enclose it in a single parent, well, then this error will go away because there's only 1 top level element. There's not 2 side by side or adjacent. So that's all this is telling us. So if I just come in here, and this is what it meant by a Jsx fragment as well. So you don't even have to put a full tag, if you know what I mean. Like, I didn't write div in here, although you certainly could do that. But that has other ramifications. So if you just wanted to have no effect on the DOM and yeah, just literally put in a fragment, you can just do an empty tag like this, and this still works because basically this has effectively told it that there's a top level element here, and now these 2 adjacent elements are not adjacent right at the return state. We need to be returning 1 thing. So that's sort of what's going on here. Now we're just returning this whole thing, whereas here we were sort of trying to return 2 different things, if it's a way that I'd remember it. So then if we type div in here and in here, this works too. So we'll just reload, and there we go. And if we get rid of these divs, just to check when I save, this should also still work. So it's just not working there now because they're 2 different tags, and there we go. The empty fragments also work. So that's great. We've solved that error. Thanks, Mags. Cool. So I'm just watching the video, he's just explaining this because we've gone ahead and solved it. Okay. So, Max's course, in the video here, when he clicks this, it's not deleting, but mine is deleting. So, I'm just going to see what else he says. Oh, it's not working, you see, because now it's deleting all of them in one go. So, yeah, it's also broken for me, so we're going to try and fix this error. And what's going wrong is, so here is our goal form, our input, our goals, our add goal handler. Okay. And here is our onDelete item, delete item handler from our list. So let's check out what this method is doing. So once we come in here, const delete item handler, we're taking the goal ID, and then this is taking all of the goals that we have, looping through each of these previous goals, creating a new variable called updated goals, and this updated goals is a filtered list of all of the goals, so it's the previous goals, going through each one by goal, but you're not taking the only goal which has a goal ID. You don't want to take the goal if it's not equal to the goal ID. So when there's a match, don't add that one back to the updated goals. So you're effectively deleting one. And then when you add a goal handler, we have the enter text that we typed into the box. Then we want to go through each of the goals from the previous goals. So loop over the previous goals, spread out the goals, previous goals, and store them in this updated goals constant. And then you want to push a new goal onto the end with the ID of 1. And then return the updated goals. So that means that all of the new goals have an ID of 1, which explains why they're all being deleted at the same time. So we just need to give an actual ID. Yeah. Yeah, so Max has just shown us now that that is indeed the case. So if we add a goal, we get this warning, and the warning is telling us that 2 children had the same key. So yeah, we're just using goal 1 as a pre-entered string, but like an ID cannot be the same like that. So we have this group of goals. We have all of our goals stored in the previous goals, and then we're just adding in a new goal with the ID of goal 1. But sure, that's not an ID. If it's going to just be some string, you know, it should be variable. So we should use the math.random function or something like that in order to put in a different number in here each time. Sorry. Awesome. He's going to show us the debugger now in the developer tools. Okay. Yeah, so now we're just going to go through our folders. So this is how we can debug our code. So here we go. We're looking for our source folder, and then we have our components, which have these actual components that we have up here. So although the view that's coming out here is a compiled version, and it has compiled it from React into a format that can be used to display it in the browser like this. There's other things that happen in between. We can come to the sources tab in our development tools and look at these files in order to debug them. Even though it's not the compiled code, we can see it still. So if we come in here and go to our app.js, but I think that's what we're looking at. Okay. So yeah, we literally are looking for the app.js folder. So it's not there. There we go. Okay, so there's our code. It'll be in one of these folders in here. Just have a look around, you know, if you can't find it. Because yeah, it took me a minute. It was up in this localhost folder. So now we've found our app.js file, and now we can add breakpoints like this in order to tell it to stop in a particular place, and so we can debug it. So I want to see what this goal 1 is, so I'm going to just put that there and then reload my page, and then it should stop there when it gets there. So I'm just going to add some more breakpoints. So I'm going to put it on the delete item handler whenever that is called, and also on the add goal handler, and then on the goal 1, and just see what Max does. Okay, so where Max is after putting his own breakpoints is where the delete method is first triggered. So that's in the course goal item. So in our components, course goal item, and then we have our delete handler, and we want to delete the props.id. So if we put it here instead, and then we can step through from the moment that that function is called right through to everywhere that it's going to go. So we'll do that. Man. So now we can step through this. So if we just do a down here, okay, yeah, so if I just go to delete one of them, that fires up the debugger, and then we can step through as you would when this is being deleted. So we can just continue on. So step into the next function call. Yeah. So now it's stepped into the next function call, and we can see the value of goal 1 here. This is being thrown out as goal 1. So we're passing in goal 1 as the item to be deleted. And we just keep on stepping through. So let's see. Okay, yeah, so Max is just literally continued there now. And then he started to delete another goal, stepped into the next function call, seeing that this was goal 1 again. So here we can see that this has been assigned goal 1, and then came to the conclusion, well, two things shouldn't have the same ID. So now he knows what the problem is. Okay, so I don't know if I have Chrome anymore because my browser was low on memory, and Chrome is just a killer. It's just such a killer. And actually Brave, this one I'm using now, I really like the dev tools. Like, they're just as good as Chrome, if you ask me. So I do not have Chrome, Max. React dev tools. React developer tool. So I need this extension, but it's a Chrome extension. Add to Brave. Woo! Great. Okay, so I can add it here. So I don't need to install Chrome, which is good because now I've moved away. Like, honestly, they just use too much memory. So this is better. And there we go. Now we have our Brave DevTools. So that's awesome. So let's just pin this to our start bar. Oh yes, it does, you silly Billy. So the warning is saying this page doesn't appear to be using React, but that's a lie. So let's just continue. Okay, so maybe I need to restart my dev tools, but he also said that here I should have 2 new things. Yeah, so I should restart my browser first of all, and then go to localhost, and I thought it was 3001, and now if we go to our dev tools, yes, we see that it looks different. So it was highlighted there, so now it's grey, the extension, and then if we go here we can see that it's no longer grey, it's red. So now we should have 2 new areas in our DevTools, components and profiler. Ah, cool. So look, we can actually see our components now. So that's awesome. Okay, yeah. Okay, so even if we add more than one goal, these IDs are still coming out as goal 1. So if we delete one of them, we should see that it deletes them. Oh, which it didn't, but we still have the same error. So let's just continue. Okay, and you can record what you're doing. Okay. I don't know what that was doing. I just thought I'd have a look. So telling us how long things are taking and stuff. So okay. Okay, cool. So we can see more information here about these different components. So here we can see which components are rendering this course goal list and the course goal item. The course goal item in this case. So we're looking at our course goal item. It's rendered by our list. We have a delete handler on this particular course goal item. Has an ID of G1 and this is the children. So what's been put into that particular component. And you can just see that's the same for all of them. So that's handy just to see what methods does it have, what's its ID, and where is it being called from. So very handy. And there's the source code. So we can also see where we've used use state. We have the hooks and our state hook. So it's telling us what have we said to hook into. Entered value and is valid. So these are what we've actually called our two state trackers. And this is the state of the state trackers. So the entered value or goal 3 and then true or false for the second state. So we're just going to get the next project ready now, because we're going to continue with everything we've learned so far. So now we're in chapter 8. Okay, so I'm just going to rename this as well because the file names are too long, and then I'm just going to cut this out of here, put it back here, so new folder. I'll just call this Max Project Files. And I'll add in 7 and 8 in here. Okay, and now I can come into the code so we just have finished. Where's start? Well, let's just go into finished anyway, and what we will do is just open this in code. And then we should run our npm install again. So there's nothing in there. Oh, is this still extracting? Didn't extract properly, so if we go back to documents, it's H that we need, so I'll just cut this, place this in here, get rid of this one, extract this, cool. So now it's doing it. Open this with code. And there we go. Okay, so now we actually have some code in here. So cool, it just didn't extract properly. That's happened to me a few times, so just be wary. Check what your folders is doing if you're trying to extract some code, because it's caught me a few times. And I just thought there was nothing in the folder. So now we can run our npm install. So let's just do dir, check where we're at. So there's another folder in here. Let's check again. Then we need to go into our code folder, check again. Then we need to go into our O1, and now we can run dir again just to make sure there's our package.json, which is what we want to create our node modules from. So now if we do npm install, it will install all the packages that are in this package.json file and create a package lock.json as well. So let's do that. Okay, so this is just going here, and yeah, we're nearly finished. So what I'm going to do is just wrap it up here, wrap it up here for today, and come back to this tomorrow. So we'll start with this project tomorrow, and I'm going to try and add in some more complex functionality. So we're going to be adding in an alert. It's still a list, something similar to this. And we're still going to be adding items onto a list, but we want to add alerts and stuff, so that say if we're trying to add the same item, it will give us an alert and inform us, listen, this is the same thing. So let's just run it now it's done and see what's going on. So npm start. Great. So this is what it looks like once this is loaded, and this is what we will be starting with tomorrow. Looks great.